I just wanted to start my podcast today with just showing you the slouchy cardigan that I made and using my art yarn. I'm so excited, you guys. I absolutely love this. I will leave the pattern below. It's just simply making like a big square, and then you just stitch up the sides and you turn the collar over. So, and you turn it over for a collar. So it's really, really super simple. The stitch I used is really simple too. And it's hard for me to explain it, but I will do a video on how I did the stitch. But it's an easy stitch. The original pattern of how to do this cardigan, she just used a basic garter stitch, but I decided to use this stitch here. So it's kind of a lacy stitch. It's really open, and since I use such bulky yarn for the base of it, I'll turn around. Since I use such a bulky yarn for the base of it, I wanted it to be, you know, not get too heavy. So I wanted to have air. So I thought kind of a lacier stitch would be good. But it's, I don't know if you call it a lace stitch, but it's a simple, simple stitch. The other thing is all the stuff hanging off of it. Well, I should say the base here is just just a synthetic yarn, and I use a synthetic yarn because I was, you know, this is a lot of yarn, you guys, and to save on some money, for sure, I use a synthetic yarn for this, and also so I can throw this in the wash, because this is a big piece to be having to hand wash. But the really exciting part is not that, is all the handmade yarn that I spun all this yarn. Isn't this fun? I dyed all of this roving. I dyed the locks. Then I hand spun this. And when I hand spun this, it's made up of like, it's made up of the lamb locks, the roving that I hand dyed. I have some Angelina, which is the gold sparkle in here, and then a lot of different little techniques of making knots and bobbles. And so, and then I also have some pieces of ribbon, which I made out of like, oh, I think this was a skirt. Yeah, which I made out of a skirt. And I just cut it in strips, and I wove that into the art yarn too. So that's how I created this art yarn. And at the end of this video, I'm going to have like 15 minutes at the end, just showing you guys how I, just an example of how I make art yarn. So I love this. I love the art yarn. I love how ragged it looks, how it just looks like, I don't know, so shabby, like my jeans. I love ripped jeans. So something like this just has a bunch of shabby, it's a very shabby chic piece, I think. Just has a bunch of shabby art yarn hanging everywhere from it. Is fabulous. So let me show you the back one more time. And there's the back. And hopefully you guys are seeing this. You guys, just a second. I have a box here. Let me scoot it out of the way. Oh, hopefully I'm not going to make something crash. Okay. I should be doing this off film, but oh well, this is real life, right? It's my living room. That's a box that needs to be put away. Okay, I want to come back a little bit more. Hopefully you guys are seeing the back really well. So that's the back. And hopefully you guys are seeing the bottom. So I love the way this turned out. I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera. I just want you guys to see this full on, and then we'll talk about it further when I go back to my counter over here. Okay? So see you guys in just a minute. Hi guys, it's Angie Bell with My Fairy Treasures. Okay, I'm coming around. Just a second, I have to bring my chair. Sorry about that noise. I'm having to bring my chair around. Hi guys. Okay. You know what? I don't know which podcast this is. If this is like 9 or 10, I don't know. But it will be in the title once I figure it out. It's so funny how people do their podcasts and they're like, what number are we on? I don't know either. But you'll know because it'll be in the podcast. It'll be in the title. So anyway, I showed you guys at the beginning. I was off camera. My head was kind of chopped off, but I wanted to make sure that you got a full view of my slouchy cardigan. So I absolutely love how this turned out. I love all the shabbiness of it. some people may hate this, be like, that looks horrible. But I love stuff like this that has just like, has knots and baubles, what you call them, and the, in fact, let me describe it better. Okay, just a second, because I gotta make sure. Okay, this is some of the art yarn that I spun, okay? Let me move this. This is the art yarn that I spun. And I actually, when I knitted this, there's a knit stitch that I used for the whole thing, so it's a very open knit stitch. And I will do a video just showing that open knit stitch because it's really nice, and it leaves a nice open, well, a nice open stitch. And you can, with that open stitch, you can also stitch this art yarn, which seems impossible, right? Because look at all this, okay? But when you do it, what I did is at the bottom where you see all of the art yarn, I did like a row of, I just did a row of like the commercial yarn that I used, and then after that, oh, I did 2 or 3 rows of commercial yarn. Then I did a row of the art yarn. Then I did 1 or 2 rows of the, I did 2 rows of the commercial yarn, and then a row of the art yarn. And so that's how we got like all the fringe all around the whole thing. So, and that's what I used. So what I love about it is I love, right here is a lock that I dyed. This is a lamb lock, and I always use, not lamb, sheep lock, and I always use the long wool sheep's locks because then they're easier to spin in. And I dyed it, and I hand dyed all of this also. And you guys, isn't this beautiful? I dyed this with Kool-Aid. I dyed this with a pink lemonade, and it does a gorgeous job. Yes, you guys, pink lemonade. And I might have thrown a little bit of brown in there just to like shabby chic it up, age it just a little bit, add a little tanny brown in there. Also, then I took some, I think this was a blouse or a skirt, cut this up into strips. And then, what else did I do? Oh, and then I have some Angelina in here. Well, I have it especially in this one. I don't think I have, in this one I do have Angelina. It's like a sparkly type of fiber that you can spin in there. So I did that. And then I did different techniques. I did some coiling, like that. And this is a different, it looks different than regular coils because I used a really textured core yarn, which I'll show you. And then I did some knots. So there's a little, what do I call it? Knots, bobbles. Here's a little bobble. And then I did honeycombs. And hopefully you guys are seeing this. Hopefully I'm close enough you guys can see this. And these are honeycombs. Okay? Kind of longer right there in the middle. So hopefully you guys are seeing that. So I love spinning art yarn. I love knitting with it. I love incorporating it into all my pieces. I absolutely love it. In fact, I was watching Kristy Glass. Hey, Kristy. And she was interviewing Stephen B. And I love how he thinks, because it's how I think. I love how he thinks about knitting, or about everything. I'm first a mixed media artist, and then I'm a knitter. And he takes that same, way. He looks at all of his yarn and fibers as ingredients, and then he mixes them all together. And I think that is so cool. And what did you guys just see me do? I'm using a commercial yarn. What is this? Homespun. I think it's a homespun bulky yarn for the base. Okay. Then I took and I look at all the different things I just talked about. If this isn't mixed media art or mixed media knitting, I don't know what is. And I love it. Let me show you. Oh, these are I'll just show you a few different elements of what I did. 1 second. Alexa, set timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Starting now.
Okay, these are the sheep locks that I dyed with the Kool-Aid, which was pink lemonade. I'll show it to you real quick. Look how beautiful that turned out. Isn't that gorgeous? Hopefully you guys are seeing that. So pretty. And like I said, I threw a little bit of brown in there, just a light brown, and that was a cake dye. I just mixed it up a real light brown just to pour over the pink, just to shabby chic it out a little bit so it looks a little aged. Has a little tea dye. That's what I want, a little tea dye effect. So there's some more. And you guys have seen this before, but I just thought I'd share it again. So I have that, and then I have a whole other bag of it right here. Now, when I did my yarn, when I made my art yarn like this, I did a technique called core spinning, and I'm going to show you guys that at the end of the video. And so for my core spinning, I use this. Okay, I would never, and no shade to anybody that likes it, but this is some homespun. I'm not sure which brand it is. Everybody has their ones like this, and it's like a knobby. It's a synthetic knobby, real textural type of yarn, and I think it's hell to knit with. I've tried it, and I was like, oh my god, that's not fun. But what this is great for, and I saw Pinki Punki. She spins yarn. I'll leave her link below. She does beautiful stuff. I got so much inspiration, and I learned so much stuff from her. She uses something, I don't know if it was this or not, but she used something like this that was real textural like this. Okay? And when she did a thing called core spinning. So what you're doing is when you core spin, you guys are going to see it. You are spinning your roving, you're spinning your locks, whatever you're doing, your ribbon, all around this, your core. Okay? And I absolutely love core spinning. So that is what I use for the core spinning. And you just get this, you know, you guys have seen this. You just get it at Michael's or Joann's. And I got a bunch of it because I got it on clearance at Michael's because I knew I'd be core spinning with it, and I absolutely love it. This is the roving, and I already have it, you guys, this roving, I already have it drafted, so that's why it looks like this. It doesn't normally look like this. It's more of a smooth thing. I think I have it. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I already have it drafted, which means when you draft, oh, my hair, which means when you draft, you just kind of just going like this, so you're drafting it so it gets, you know, thinner so that you can spin with it. Okay, so this is all drafted, and that's what I used. That's the roving that I used. Okay, I absolutely love this roving. The only thing with this roving, yeah, this one's not that. I bought it from Knit Picks. You can buy for right around around 5 or 6. You can buy the roving that's just 100% wool. But then if you spend just a couple more dollars, you can get it mixed with silk. And you guys, I love the wool with the silk. And so next time, I bought a bunch of that the first time. Then I ordered 10 more, and the roving with the silk was $7. It wasn't on sale. The first time I bought it, it was on sale for like $5 or $6, so that's why I bought it. But this time it wasn't on sale, and so I went with just 100% wool, and it's fine, and it's still nice and dyes well. It's just not quite as soft. So the next time I go and buy my next bulk, I usually buy 10 or 12 at a time. I will do the roving with silk. So if you go to Knit Picks, that's what I suggest. I really like it more, but I'll still use this up. I still love it. So, okay. So there we go with that. So that's the roving I use. And there's some, if you guys can see the sparkle, there's some Angelina in there. I like to just throw my Angelina in there. And then when I, then it's all ready for me to spin it. So I just kind of lay it across the roving after I draft it. And I like to draft a whole bunch at a time. And then I lay my Angelina over it. And this is what Angelina is. It's this stuff right here. Isn't that fabulous, you guys? Love that. So you can have some bling. So exciting. Okay, next, this is, like I said, remember I also spun some ribbon. So I just made up strips. I just cut up strips. I think this was it was like a skirt or a blouse. And I made it into ribbon. So I just cut strips like this. And I spun that in there too, and I showed you that in there. I showed you that in my piece. I don't know if I showed you or not. Here is, yeah, I think I showed you guys already. Right here. There's the, see this hanging? That's the homemade ribbon that I made. And then the other things hanging, of course, are the sheep's locks. See right there? Okay, so see you guys what I mean? I love how Stephen B thinks about things. He's like, these are all my ingredients, and I'm going to mix them all up and make something cool out of it. And I love that. The other thing I like about him is that he's really into like the bulkier yarns. Not maybe the brand I used or whatever for the base, but I'm just saying he's into more chunky yarns and things that you can knit up quicker. And I am too. Like, I cannot be using... Oh my God, can you imagine me doing this in a lace weight? Oh my God. It would be gorgeous, but I'd have to kill myself before it's over. So this takes long enough with chunky yarn. So, and if you're going to use art yarn as like fringe, you need something that's weighted. Like, there's no way I could do this project and then have art yarn intermixed in it or use it as fringe because it'd be too heavy. So definitely, if you're going to make something like this, you need to use like a chunky yarn or like a worsted weight so that it has some oomph to it to be able to handle the art yarn, either knitted in or hanging as fringe. Okay, what else did I want to show you guys? Okay, so that's the only finished project I have because I've been doing a bunch of like fall decorating, you guys, and I'm loving it. I have a bunch of fall decorating videos. If you guys are into fall decor, check them out. I'm doing all my fall decor, a lot of it with Dollar Tree products. So that's been really fun. I've been knitting. I knit every night for a couple hours while me and my husband watch TV. I haven't been spinning over the last couple of weeks, but I have been knitting in the evenings. So that'll be fun to do the spinning for you guys here at the end. Okay, but what I am working on, I do have WIPs, works in progress. What I am working on is some mittens. And I love these kind of mittens where you just knit them flat and then you turn it over like this. And then you stitch up the top and then you stitch up the top and then you stitch up the bottom. And then you leave a place for your finger. So you kind of have to, like, when you have to put it on your hand and kind of measure it. And I know this doesn't seem like it would fit over the hand, but you stretch it over your hand and then you see where you need to do it because this stretches majorly. And anyway, I'll show you guys when I'm done with these mittens and how I'm doing them. But you just make a nice rectangle. You fit it over your hand and you knit until you can stretch it over your hand like that. A second, let me show you. I wish I would have already stitched this one together like that. See? So this will be stitched together and then it'll be stitched together on the bottom. See? And they turn out so cute. So then what I want to do is so then what I want, oh, I guess I can stretch this out a little bit. Then what I want to do is I want to, on the cuffs of it, I want to knit like a little cuff of trim. I'm going to knit a little cuff of trim. So it'll be about that wide and so long. And I'm going to put that on top of the mitten, around the top. So if this is the top of the mitten, I'm going to have that around the top. So there'll be like a cuff of art yarn. So it'll totally go with my Slouchy Cardigan. I think that's going to look really good. And so I have that on the needles right now, my second fingerless mitts. And that's what I'm making, fingerless mitts, not regular mitts, fingerless mitts. And the yarn I'm using for that, what is this? Oh. Alright. And I'm just using a synthetic yarn for this. I'm using the same thing I used for the base of this, just a homespun, hometown Lion brand. And this is the one I'm using. And I just want to be able to throw these in the wash. I don't know about throwing them in the wash because I am using 100% wool on the art yarn part for the cuffs. Remember I said I just want to do a little cuff in art yarn, about that wide all the way around. So I'll have to see how that washes up. You know what? Washing one of these in the wash machine will really help me decide if I can throw this Slouchy Cardigan in there too. So anyway, Also, I'm going to be making a bunch of these fingerless mitts with the art yarn cuffs as Christmas presents. So I definitely want, you know, those people to be able to, if they want to, they can throw them in the wash. So I'm going to wash one to test it out to see how the art yarn works by throwing it in the wash. So we'll see. I'm trying to think if my roving is superwash merino. You know, I have to look on my thing. For some reason, I think it's superwash merino, and the other one was superwash merino with silk. No, maybe it wasn't. So it's just wool. Yeah. Okay. You know, you do so many projects, you get confused after a while. Oh, and when I did this, I did use size 15 circular needles, and then I'm knitting on size 15, just, you know, regular needles, wooden needles for this. When I do stuff like this, I love using the knit picks, and I love using, what other ones did I use? I used the knit picks wooden ones, which they are gorgeous. I showed you guys those in my last podcast. And there's another wooden one, and I'm not thinking of the name of them. But anyway, I love wooden. I like them better than metal. For me right now, metal is just too slippery. I know a lot of people like it because they go faster. But I start going faster, and I start messing up. So the wood helps me stay at the speed I need to stay at. So, what else? Okay. Oh, my other work in progress. This is going to be hilarious. You guys, look. You know what, let me take this off because I'm getting hot because it's 100, it's like 100 degrees here in Vegas still. Other places it might be fall, but not here. Here it's still 100. So let me just take this off real quick. Okay. Whew, getting hot. Okay, the reason I have this basket is because this is my project bag. There's not a project bag big enough for this damn blanket. Okay, here it is. So this is where it's at. Let me clear it to the side. Okay, so I'm using all synthetic yarn for this because it's a blanket. And the blanket is probably the width of a normal throw blanket, but it's the length of my husband, and my husband is 6'3". So I'm making this blanket so he can put it over himself at night, over our bedspread. But he wants it to fit like up to his neck. So you guys, it is taking me forever. It takes so long to finish one row because he's so tall. Oh my gosh. I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I said yes to this. So anyway, I have gotten a long way since you guys have seen this last. Oh, that's my yarn. Okay. So I am using, again, I'm using the Lion brand on this, because I definitely want to be able to throw this in the washing machine. There's no damn way, as you guys all know, that any of us would hand wash a blanket that fits somebody who's 6'3". Okay, just one second. I'm going to, let me get my Slouchy Cardigan off the ground. Just a second, people, just a second. I'm hang it over this. And then my little bit of yarn went flying. Okay, I'm in control now. Oh, I want to show you real quick. This is what the roving looks like from Knit Picks. Yeah, it's a wool of the Andes roving. So this one doesn't have the silk in it. But next time I will get the one that has the silk in it. But anyway, that's what it looks like, and that's how it comes. So that's what roving looks like and how it comes. You can spin it just like this, or you can dye it. And I dye a lot of my stuff. But I'm about to do, oh, I'm so excited. I'm about to do a, before I show you this blanket, I'm about to spin some art yarn that looks like a horse's mane or horse's tail. I saw this lady. I was inspired after I saw her. So I want to dye this, leave some of the natural color, but then put some black, some gray, some brown, some lighter brown, and dye it like that, which I think will be gorgeous. And then I want to get some flax. Flax is very long hair, but it's not really hair, it's flax. And it looks like long hair, like a horse's tail. So I want to take that and spin that, and that'll hang off just like my ribbons hung off, or like how my sheep blocks hang off. And then of course in that I want to also spin sheep blocks in there, and maybe I'll probably also spin some ribbon too. that matches the whole thing. So that's a project that's coming up soon. And with that, I want to make another slouchy cardigan and have all that type of horse's mane, fancy horse mane, hanging off of it. I think that would be fabulous. I probably won't make it as long. I probably just make it like right below the butt, I think. We'll see. We'll see. So anyway, wanted to show you what that looks like. Okay, so let me show you where I'm at on this blanket. Oh my God. Does anybody make a blanket? Does anyone ever make a blanket for somebody who's 6'3" and actually make one that's long enough to fit their body? It's like insane. I can't even believe I committed myself to this. But anyway, my husband's so happy. It's in his colors, and you know, he's stuck. He's psyched. He yells at me every day. Is my blanket done? Okay, so here it is. That's how much I have done. Okay, I'm trying to, it's on the, it's on my circulars. So there we go. That's how much I have done. And it's so big, you guys. Like, I'm going to lift it up. It is so heavy. Oh my God. Here we go. Ugh. There we go. And it's on my circular needles, so, it's all the way around. And I use my wooden needles here, and they're size 15. You guys, I would highly suggest getting blockers, these little blockers for your needles, no matter what size needles you use. Then you don't have to worry about your stitches falling off. These are a lifesaver, so every time I buy a pair of needles, I buy these blockers. I flip and love these things. And like I said, I used a homespun yarn on this. Wait, let me think. I used a Lion Brand Hometown on it. And this is my husband's favorite colors, the red, white, and blue, because his football team is the Titans, and his basketball team is what? His basketball team is, well, he likes a couple of basketball teams, but his other team that he likes so much is also red, white, and blue. I can't remember right now. But anyway, these colors are for his sports team, so he loves it. He cannot wait till it's done. I do have to say one thing about this, since it's just all garter stitch, but it's fun because you're changing colors all the time, so you see the color change. That's fun. Blue, red, white, blue, red, white. Then I bought some yarn that has some blue and white mixed in it. So that's fun to get to change colors. But being, what was I going to say? Being garter stitch. What was I going to say about that? Oh, just being garter stitch, especially if you're a new knitter. I guess I'm not super new anymore. I've been doing it now maybe, I mean, that's still new. I've been doing it for maybe 7 or 8 months now, I think. So, I mean, that's a newer knitter. But anyway, when you do a whole blanket garter stitch, you really get the garter stitch just down. I mean, and you get good at it. Like, it gets you, I'm pretty good at garter stitch. Not that there's anything to brag about, but that's the basic stitch, so you need to be able to be good at that. So, not that I would maybe suggest a beginner to do a blanket, because it takes forever to finish it, but it does get you the practice you need to get really good at just doing the basic knit stitch. So, anyway, so Lord knows when I'll be done with this. I'm trying to make this my only project and trying to get this finished. And then when I'm on the road doing things, then I work on my mittens. And plus I want to make a bunch of mittens for Christmas presents with the art yarn on the cuffs. So those are going to be the only projects I want to kind of be working on. Lord knows I'll probably cast on something else, but that's what I'm going to try. Also, in between that, I want to be spinning, spinning art yarn. So, okay, let me see if there's anything else. I feel like there was so much to tell you guys, but I think that is it. This is kind of a quick one. At least I think so. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera. Okay, you guys, I think I got the camera set up good for you guys to see this. So, I switched the camera angle around and set up my spinning machine. So I thought I'd do a little spinning for you guys. It's a little bit different colorway. I have a little nail issue there. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys the colorway that I'm using. Hey honey, I'm making a video. Okay. So this is the colorway I'm using here. I dyed all of this with cake dye and Kool-Aid. A mixture of cake dyes and Kool-Aids mixed with vinegar, so that's what makes it so that it's color fast. and that it doesn't wash out. But isn't that gorgeous? So we're spinning this color. So we're not spinning the like the Shabby Chic pink stuff I did with my Slouchy Cardigan. We're gonna do this colorway, and then this is the roving that I dyed again with cake dyes and Kool-Aid and of course vinegar for the mordant. I think it's called a mordant, so that everything stays color fast. So isn't that gorgeous? Look how pretty all that is. Okay, and then we're going to spin in some homemade ribbon that I made out of torn up sheets, and then a little bit of just fun fiber in there. I've already sprinkled in, oh I didn't sprinkle in, usually I sprinkle in some Angelina on the roving, but I didn't today, so we won't worry about that today. Okay, and then real quick, this right here is that, use my head, I have a small ball left of it. This is the that yarn I was talking about that has a real kind of like, you know, a lot of texture to it. That's what I'm going to use for my core, because we are doing core spinning. Okay, and I dropped this ball right in a bowl that I have below me, a little yarn bowl. And I've already begun this, so I'm just going to start from here. Okay, so let's get started. And let me see where I ended at. Okay, so we're going to start with spinning some locks. And I love lock spinning. I think it's the best. Look how pretty that is. Okay, where do I want to? You kind of want to go with your best end. It's, you know, leaving their best end out. So that's my best end. This is gorgeous. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. Alrighty, and then what I like to do is I like to, after I spin a lock like that, I like to go right on top of the, right where it ended, kind of go on top of it, and just to lock it in a little bit more with just some roving. And I make a little bit of a space. I'm going to tear that off. Keep spinning that. Okay. And look how pretty that looks. Let me just get this wound up a little bit. Okay. Look how pretty that looks. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay. And then we're going to spin, and I leave a little space in between each one, so when I go to knit, I have some space in between for knitting. And I'm going to show you guys, like I said, I'm going to show you this stitch, this really nice loose lacy stitch. I call it a lacy stitch. I don't know if it's a lacy stitch or not, but a really nice loose stitch, so that you can, it's a stitch that really allows you to be able to, just one second, I need to think for a second. Okay, there we go. A stitch that allows you to knit with your art yarn. Sometimes you have to use your brain for a second. Alright, so then I did that, okay? And then we're going to lock that in, we're going to spin a little bit of art yarn into that. Okay, pull that off. There we go. So now we have that, and we have this. So we have both of those. Okay. All right, and then we'll spin in a little bit of this fun fiber. So I do my art yarn just like I do all my other mixed media, the same way. So I'm definitely not a not somebody who spins or knits the way that everybody does it. I think I take a very artsy point of view. Okay, and then just add on some yarn there. Okay, so now I just added in some roving. So this is what we have there. We have that, and we have that. Okay. All right. I need a longer piece of roving because now we're going to start doing some techniques. Let's get another piece here. I usually go much faster, but since I'm showing you guys, I'm not going as fast. Okay. So what we want to do here is just add some roving on the end. So let's do, there we go. Let's do a bobble. Okay, there's the bobble. Let's do some coiling. Okay, then we'll spin out of that a little bit. All right, so there we go. There's a bobble, and there is some coiling right there. And that's how the coiling looks if you're going to do it with a more textured yarn. If you were to do it with some hand spun yarn and coil, the coils will come out like little coils like this. But this is what a coil looks like when you do it with the textured yarn. Next, we're going to do a honeycomb. So honeycomb, you just kind of just go. Oh, I just made a bobble. Just a second, guys. Things got caught up a little bit, and see that right there? That's another bobble, but that's fine. That's the neat thing about art yarn. You can do whatever. But I do try to do a pattern. Just it'll make more sense with your knitting when you go to knit this. Okay, so now we're going to add the bobble in there. Get going a little bit away from that. Okay, so here's the bobble. You just go right in the same place and then come out of it. And go like that. See? And there's a bobble right there. Cool, huh? Okay. And then let's go ahead and add in some ribbon. Let me come down a little so you guys can make sure I'm in camera so you guys can see. Okay, so we're going to go like that. And then this time what I'm going to do is I put the, I was doing it, there's a couple different ways, but I prefer this method of adding your ribbon in. So you have some roving left here at the end. You take your ribbon, put it over it like this, and then you take your roving and go right and use the roving to lock that in. Okay? I did it differently last time. Sorry. There's a couple different ways. You know me, there's always a couple different ways to do everything. But so that's how I like to lock that in. Okay? And then after that, I am going to add in a lock. I'm just going to see where I want to end up with. Kind of like that better. Okay, so now we're going to come right here at the end of that. I'm going to do a lock. Okay. And I'll leave that out there. Look how pretty that looks. Okay. And then next, to lock that lock in, I go back to some roving. Okay, so let's go back to some roving here. There we go. Give us up a little bit of space for knitting. And then we will, wait, did I go through everything? Oh, and then I'll add in my fiber. And this is just the fiber right here. The roving I told you I got from Knit Picks, 100% wool. I get my locks on eBay. Just look up long wool locks, and you'll find different people who sell it. And I never can really buy from the same person because they just, you know, they just sheared their sheep, and a lot of times they've sold all of it, and so I go to the next person who's selling it. And I look for locks that are really nice and long. And if they say they're pretty oily, I like that too, because the oil, when I go to dye, it dyes it so much prettier. Like, you guys, look how shiny. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm going to give you guys a handful of locks. Look how shiny the locks are. And I had some long wool locks last time that I ordered, and they didn't have as much oil in them, and they weren't this shiny. So I did have to wash all this myself, but it was well worth it. I'm going to talk about in my next video how to what to use to wash if you get just raw locks right off the sheet. I have a great thing to wash them, and it cuts some of the lanolin and cuts the dirt right out. So I'll include that in my next video. Okay, so we're at this point here. Let's now do some techniques here. So we're going to do a bobble there. Then we'll do a cone. Okay. All right, so then we did a bobble, we did a cone, and then we're going to do, I got to get my chair up. Okay, let me just, okay, we'll do one more of that. Then we'll do, let me add on some more roving here. There we go, and we'll do coil. Okay, and then we'll end it like that. Okay, and I'm going to bring this back up to the top. What you want to do is when you fill up your bobbin so much in a certain area, you want to bring it back up. You want to bring it back to the top once you get to the end, and then you just keep bringing it down like this so that you fill the bobbin evenly. Okay? Okay, so after that we will now add in a homemade ribbon. And I make homemade ribbon by just ripping up clothing, ripping up old sheets, fabric. I think it's a very natural looking, a more natural looking ribbon than if you just got some ribbon from the store, I think. See how nice it lays? It lays just really like little rags, which is what you want. And then let's do a lock. I'm going to do a really thick piece. I'm going to put 2 locks together. We're going to put 2 locks in here together. That's going to look fabulous. So when you do it, you leave out a tail, only about that much, and that's what you're going to use to spin around and what you're going to hold on to when you do this. Okay? Once it gets spinning, you let go of the longer part and just hold on to that little tail that I told you about. And when you hold on to that tail, that's how you end up with some locks being able just to hang down like that. See? All right. And hold on to that lock because it needs to be locked in with some roving. So we will do that next. Put it right on the end so we can lock down this lock. Okay, there we go. And then just be careful. Things can get caught up on your thing over here because you have a lot going on when you're doing art yarn. So just kind of see if you get caught up on this little hook. And then let's do some more fun fur fiber. That's the thing fun with spinning is you can spin anything. If you can find a way, you can spin anything, especially with art yarn. Okay. Now we have our little space. Let's do. Oh. Okay. See, I let go of this by accident, and let's just keep going with it. Okay, here we go. We're gonna make a bobble. All right, there we go. Sometimes you lose control. So anyway, I made a bobble right there. And that's the beauty about art yarn, though. There are no mistakes at all. You can do whatever. That's what makes it so fun. You can be so creative. So there are no mistakes in your art yarn. I'm just getting a little bit. Oh, there we go. That's enough space. I was wanting to give a little bit more space between that for the knitting, but it's okay. That'll be good. Let's go ahead and put this on right at the end. Remember, you leave that much tail out, and that's what you are going to hold on to spin around the cord. Okay, so I'm taking that tail. See how I'm still holding that tail? There we go. And that locks that in there. See how nice and locked in it is? There we go. And then Then we gotta lock that in with some roving. So we'll do that. Okay, lock that in with some roving. Okay, and then we'll put a rivet. There we go. And lock that in. And leave a little space for some knitting. Okay, and then let's lock in. Let's put some fun fiber in. I'm going to Kristyglass. I love her channel. You guys have to watch her. I'll put her link below. I've linked her many times below on my videos. You guys have to go check her out. She interviewed somebody, and he was into spinning, and he spun banana leaves? Yeah. And he spun something else. Banana leaves and something else. Not leaves, banana fiber. And he spun something else. It might have been rose, like the rose hemp. Something from roses. There's all kind of fibers that you can spin. So I totally saved it on my computer where he ordered this stuff from. So I'm going to be spinning some really different stuff soon. I'm going to order that, and I'm excited. So look for those videos. I'll be spinning all different types of fibers. Definitely going to be spinning some flax, the banana fiber, and then there's something, I think it's rose fiber, something from the fiber of the rose. I think from the stem or something. Can't remember. Okay, so we're gonna lock all that in, and we're gonna end this session. Okay, and then that's how I like to do it at the end, just to really lock things down here. I just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it locks that in nice. Okay, so, and then one day soon too, I will start with a blank. This right here is your oh geez. Why can't I not think of what this is? What the hell, Angela? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, I'll start with this thing right here, blank, so that I can show you how to load up the wheel with the yarn, so you can see from the beginning. Because I remember when I started spinning, I was like, how do they load this whole thing up? What is this whole thing? You know? So spool. This is a spool right here. I'll show you with a blank spool how you put the spool on, everything, and how you get your lead thread, and I'll show you the whole thing on my next video. So I just want to pull some of this out so you can see what we got. So there we go. Okay, there we go. Isn't this just so cool, you guys? Love this. I can't wait to do something with this. Fabulous. Love it. Look how cool. Look how cool. Okay, guys, so that is it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed watching me do a little spinning. If you're ever interested in doing art yarn, this is totally different than spinning, you know, some worsted wool perfectly spinning. This is not about that at all. This is totally about art. And this is pretty much, you guys probably aren't going to see me spin a worsted wool. I have no interest. That's just me. I just love doing something artsy and then incorporating it into my knitting. So, okay, that's it for today, you guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd love for you to do so. If you can give this video a thumbs up, that'd be great. Any comments or questions, leave them below. Come visit me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm more active on Instagram. And I think that's it. Oh, and make sure you guys hit the bell so you get notifications whenever I have my next podcast or any of my other videos that you guys want to see. Okay? All right. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.